What if I told you that for the next 48 hours, I'm completely disconnected from the grid? No power lines, no water supply, no civilization for miles, just me, this van, and one of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth. Welcome back to the channel. I'm about to show you what it really takes to live completely off-grid in the desert for 2 full days. And trust me, this is nothing like those glamping experiences you see all over social media. This is raw, this is real, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether you could survive out here. But before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I'm documenting extreme off-grid adventures that push the boundaries of self-sufficiency. And if you make it to the end of this video, I've got a massive surprise that'll blow your mind about what we're doing next month. Alright, so we're about 40 miles outside of civilization right now. I've been driving for the last 2 hours on increasingly rough roads and my phone lost signal about 30 minutes ago. This is it. Point of no return. For the next 48 hours, I'm completely on my own. Okay, wow. Look at this. This is our home for the next 2 days. Now, the first rule of boondocking is location, location, location. You need flat ground for safety, you need some wind protection if possible, and ideally you want a spot that gives you good solar exposure for your panels. This spot right here, pretty much perfect. We've got natural rock formations on the north side that'll block some of that wind tonight. We're on relatively flat sandstone, and we've got unobstructed southern exposure for a maximum solar gain. Quick thing, if you're enjoying this so far, do me a favor and tap that like button. It literally takes half a second and it helps this video reach more people who are interested in off-grid living. Okay, back to setup. Setup is critical. In the desert, you're fighting 2 main enemies, heat and water scarcity. Everything I do in these first 2 hours will determine how comfortable or uncomfortable the next 46 hours are going to be. Next, setting up the awning and creating shade. When temperatures hit 110 degrees out here, shade isn't a luxury, it's survival. This awning drops the temperature underneath by about 20 degrees. Then we've got water management. I'm carrying 25 gallons of fresh water, which might sound like a lot, but when you're drinking a gallon a day just to stay hydrated, cooking, washing dishes, and maintaining basic hygiene, it goes fast. And finally, the camp kitchen. Now, I'm cooking exclusively on propane out here because wood fires in most desert areas are either prohibited or just irresponsible given how dry everything is. Okay, so it's about 2 p.m. right now, and it is brutal out here. My thermometer is reading 108 degrees in the shade. This is where off-grid living stops being an Instagram fantasy and becomes a genuine test of your preparation. Let me show you the reality of desert heat management. So, I've got a few things working in my favor. First, these reflective window covers are blocking about 80% of solar heat gain. Second, I'm running this USB-powered fan off my solar battery, creating air circulation. And third, I'm using evaporative cooling with a wet towel. But here's the truth. You're not going to be comfortable. Off-grid desert living in summer is about survival and management, not luxury. Which is exactly why I want to talk about water conservation for a second. In 48 hours, I need to accomplish everything with 25 gallons. That breaks down to roughly 12.5 gallons per day. Here's how I'm rationing it. Drinking water, 1.5 gallons per day. Cooking and dishwashing, 2 gallons per day. Basic hygiene, 0.5 gallons per day. Reserve emergency, 6 gallons total. Every drop counts, and that means getting creative. Alright, it's golden hour, which means the heat is finally breaking and I'm starving. Let me show you how to cook an incredible meal with minimal resources. Tonight we're making 1-pot pasta with vegetables. This is the ultimate boondocking meal because it's efficient with water, uses 1 burner, requires minimal cleanup, and it's genuinely delicious. Ingredients shown: 8 ounces pasta, olive oil, garlic, and onion cherry tomatoes, spinach, seasonings, just enough water to cook the pasta. Cooking process. The key here is using exactly the amount of water you need to cook the pasta, nothing extra to drain. So I'm using about 3 cups of water for 8 ounces of pasta. We're letting the pasta absorb every bit of it. Even out here in the middle of nowhere, that smell is incredible. Okay, that's legitimately amazing. You do not need a fully equipped kitchen to eat well off-grid. You know what's wild? Right now, millions of people are sitting in traffic, staring at screens, eating takeout they barely taste. And I'm here, watching the sun set over a landscape that hasn't changed in millions of years, eating food I just cooked myself. This is why I do this. Hey, real quick before we get to the night sky footage, which is absolutely insane. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We're building an incredible community of people who want to break free from conventional living and explore what's possible when you step outside your comfort zone. Hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications, and let me know in the comments if you've ever done any boondocking yourself. I read every single comment. Alright, the sun is completely down now, and this is when the desert transforms into something else entirely. This is why you come out here. In the city, you might see a couple dozen stars. Out here, thousands. The Milky Way looks like a river of light across the sky. You can see galaxies. You can see satellites passing overhead. You can see the universe exactly as humans have seen it for 300,000 years. But night in the desert also brings challenges. Temperatures that were 108 this afternoon have now dropped to about 68 degrees. That's a 40-degree swing. Your body has to adjust. Your equipment has to handle it. And you need to be prepared. Plus, you're sharing this space with wildlife. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone, but you need to respect that this is their home. We've got coyotes, snakes, scorpions, even mountain lions in some areas. That right there, coyotes. They're about 200 yards out, probably curious about the campfire. They're not dangerous if you're smart, but you need to keep your food secured and be aware of your surroundings. Let me walk you through my nighttime setup. First, all food goes into sealed containers inside the van. Nothing stays outside that could attract animals. Second, I'm checking my solar battery levels before bed. 87% charge is perfect. That'll power my refrigerator through the night and still have plenty for tomorrow. Third, I'm doing a final water check, making sure I'm on track with my rationing. And finally, securing everything. Wind can pick up out of nowhere in the desert, and you don't want to wake up to your equipment scattered across the landscape. Okay, so it's 3 a.m. and I just woke up to what sounded like something large walking around the van. I'm going to carefully check it out. Okay, false alarm. It was just the wind causing my awning strap to tap against the van. But that's the reality out here. You're in wilderness. Your mind plays tricks. Every sound is amplified. This is the part that social media off-grid content never shows you. The moments where you're genuinely uncomfortable or concerned. Real talk. Off-grid living isn't always magical sunsets and peaceful mornings. Sometimes it's being woken up at 3 a.m. by strange sounds. Sometimes it's being too hot or too cold. Sometimes it's wondering if you brought enough water. That's the authentic experience. Good morning, day 2 of living completely off-grid. I'm not gonna lie, I slept rough last night. The temperature dropped more than I expected and I woke up a few times. But there's something about making coffee while watching the sunrise over the desert that makes every difficulty worth it. Let me show you my morning routine when you're living off-grid. Morning routine? First, I'm checking all my systems. Solar panels, clean and ready to start generating. Battery levels dropped to 71% overnight, which is exactly what I expected running the fridge. Water inventory. I used about 11 gallons yesterday, which means I'm actually under my projected usage. That's good. That means I have buffer room for today. Then, basic hygiene. Now, you're not taking a full shower out here, but you can stay clean with minimal water. This is called a Navy shower, or camp shower. You get wet with minimal water, soap up, rinse off efficiently. Total water used, less than a gallon. Morning exploration. One of the best parts about boondocking is you're camped right at the trailhead. This morning, I'm going to explore some of these rock formations and show you why the desert is one of the most underrated ecosystems on Earth. Educational moment. People think the desert is empty, but it's actually teeming with life that's incredibly adapted to survive in extreme conditions. Like this creosote bush, it's one of the oldest living things on Earth. Some of these plants are over 11,000 years old. Living off-grid forces you to slow down and notice these details. You become more observant, more present, more connected to the environment around you. Day 2, challenges. Okay, so remember how I said water management was critical? Here's where it gets real. It's day 2, afternoon heat is back, and I'm starting to feel the mental challenge of rationing. My brain keeps saying, just use more water. But discipline is everything out here. If I blow through my water supply today, I've got nothing for emergencies. This is the psychological challenge of off-grid living that nobody talks about. The constant management of limited resources. By the way, if you're still with me, we're about to get to the most important part of this entire video. The lessons I learned and whether I think you should try this. But first, smash that like button if you've enjoyed this journey so far, and drop a comment telling me what surprised you most about off-grid desert living. Let's get this video to 10,000 likes. After 48 hours completely disconnected from the grid, it's time to pack up and return to civilization. But this experience has taught me some crucial lessons I want to share with you. So, could you do this? Let me break down the honest truth. Lessons learned. Lesson 1. Preparation is everything. I spent weeks preparing for this 48-hour trip. I tested my solar system, calculated water needs, planned meals, studied the weather, and built redundancy into every system. If you want to try boondocking, start small. One night close to civilization. Learn your systems. Build confidence. Lesson 2. Respect your limits. The desert is beautiful but unforgiving. Know your health limitations, know your equipment limitations, and never push beyond your skill level. There's no shame in turning back. Lesson 3. Connection matters. Someone knew where I was. I had a satellite communicator for emergencies. I had a plan. Never go truly off-grid without someone knowing your location and expected return time. Lesson 4. Less is more. After 2 days, I realized how little I actually need. No Wi-Fi, no streaming, no social media scrolling, and I was completely fine. Better than fine. I was present. I was alive in a way that's hard to explain. You know what the hardest part of this entire experience was? It wasn't the heat or the limited water or the uncomfortable nights. It was realizing that this simplicity, this connection, this presence, it's available to all of us anytime we want it. And we just have to choose it. Alright, that's 48 hours living completely off-grid in the desert. I hope this gave you a real unfiltered look at what boondocking actually involves. The amazing parts and the difficult parts. Now here's what I need from you. If this video gave you value, if it entertained you, educated you, or inspired you in any way, do 3 things for me right now. 1. Hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications. I'm creating a new video every single week documenting extreme off-grid experiences, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. 2. Give this video a like. Seriously, it helps the algorithm show this content to more people who are interested in off-grid living and sustainable adventure. 3. Leave a comment. Tell me what your biggest takeaway was, or if you have questions about any of the equipment or techniques I showed. I personally respond to comments, especially in the first 24 hours. The big reveal. And remember that surprise I mentioned at the beginning? Here it is. Next month, I'm attempting 7 days completely off-grid in one of the most remote locations in North America. We're talking no resupply, total self-sufficiency, and I'm bringing you along for every single moment. If you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because that video is going to push the limits of what I thought was possible. Until then, get outside, challenge yourself, and remember, the best adventures happen outside your comfort zone. I'll see you in the next one. Stay wild.